Hello and welcome to episode 84 of the Gamers of the Lost Spark podcast. I'm your host, Darren Whittam, and joining me this week, it's the other Spark on the pod, taking a reluctant break from the delights of Hyrule to warm us all with his tales of the beauty of video games. Settle yourselves, please, comfortably by the fireplace. It's Antony Chesson.
Oh, I feel like I should have elbow patches on. Hello, Daz. How are you doing?
I'm really good. You mean you haven't got elbow patches on?
No. I've got a t-shirt, so I'd have to stitch them to my fine skin.
I found the description conjured an image of you in a chunky knitwear jumper.
Oh, yes.
Which could have elbow patches on.
Yes.
By the fire, of course, as I mentioned. Warm, happy, like the happy, dear gaming uncle that everybody loves.
Oh, that's awesome. I feel like I should be maybe talking in a Radio 4 voice right now. Hi. Hello, sir. How you doing? How has your week been? I haven't spoken to you all week. How's your week been?
I know. It's been okay. What have I been up to? I was on my Vive the other day.
Right.
And I noticed a blemish in my vision.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm really quite gutted about it. It's not massive. I suppose it's not massive. It's not obliterating the complete screen, so I suppose that's all right.
Are we talking dead pixel?
I don't know what it is. It's not a dead pixel. It's
a sticky finger from when Sam's been playing with it.
Yeah, my smear of chocolate pudding all across it. No, it's not that either. He's pretty good with it. I don't know what it is. I've never seen anything like it before. It's like a smear, a rainbow-esque smear, probably about 3 to 4 pixels along.
Oh.
But it's only on the left lens. So I think something's happened.
Oh, no.
And I'm not happy.
I bet that's annoying you every time you put it on. I bet you can instantly see it, can't you?
I haven't put it on since I saw it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just sat there weeping in the corner.
Weeping, stamping my foot in it. Yeah, I'm in a stump about it.
Have you Googled it?
I did try Googling it. Didn't really find much. You know, it was like dead pixels or loads of different issues that didn't match this sort of smear. Somebody said, the nearest I could get somebody said, oh, you can get something like this if you leave it out in the sun. And like, because the lens is a lens, it can act like a magnifying glass. And if the sun shone on it, it could burn, make a burn onto the screen, or into the where you look through it.
Right.
But I don't know if that would make a rainbow smear or not. So it's bad news. It's still under warranty.
Oh right. Oh, that's one plus, I guess.
Yeah, but mate, I've read since having my Vive. I keep up, as you know, I read the VR news, read and I read the Vive subreddit.
You are the VR news.
I am the VR news, and I don't think I've read. Maybe I've read 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 50 good support stories. But maybe it's just the angry people that post support stories. But most of the time it's, oh my goodness, I had to deal with HTC because of this, that or the other. If it's a controller, whatever the problem is. And I read these threads and it's never good. It's never good. There's things like they charge you to ship your item to them for them to fix it,
right?
Which I don't think's right. Is that common practice? I don't think that's right. And then they return it in the same condition or worse.
Oh my goodness!
And you have to pay for transit. People complained about that. All different stories like that. Because I actually, ages ago, one of my triggers on my controller started squeaking a little bit, and it still does it now, which is annoying. So I got in touch with them, thinking this isn't good enough. This is an expensive piece of kit. And they sort of started going right down the RMA thing, and I was just like, you know what? I'll just keep it. I'll just put up with a squeaky trigger rather than risk sending it and all the red tape that's involved and all the arguing if they're trying to charge me to send the controller to them, because I just can't be bothered with the time. So I'm in a bit of a weird place, really, because I don't know whether I should. I don't know whether I have the energy to bother with going through the rigmarole of the support. I suppose I can just venture into it and see if I might be surprised.
But don't forget that human nature, this is something that I try and do, and I try and, kind of promote in my team and stuff. Human nature will not post something if it's good. No one's going to go on a subreddit and go, wow, that service was amazing. They're only going to say that service was crap. That service was bad. They're only going to complain about it. And that's why I always like, if ever I do get good service from anyone, I do like to go onto the Twitters and say, fantastic service, amazing, and thank people. You've had some genuine people have come back on, wow, thank you very much. We don't get a lot of that, so take that with a huge pinch of salt, that it could be good.
This is the thing, because they say that only an unhappy customer will tell 20 people. Sorry, whereas a happy customer won't tell as many.
Yes.
But the unhappy customer will rage and tell many more people than the happy customer. So it could be just that the angry people are angry enough, they're so motivated with their anger that they have to rant it out online. But there could be thousands of happy people that are just like so happy they're not moved to write about it, because they're just like, I got the service I expected and jobs are good. So I'm hoping, that, you've inspired me. I will tentatively start the steps of the support. I think I've got to, really, because I'd prefer to get it fixed.
Yes.
But it's going to be best case scenario. I'll still be without my Vive for a while, because they'd have to replace the HMD. I'm presuming, but maybe they've got a trick up the sleeve. Maybe they could send me a lens. Yeah, maybe something like that.
Absolutely, and maybe they can just exactly. They'll ship you out kind of a couple of tries first before they actually do the drastic measure of replacing it.
Yeah, and it's not as if it's in the first few weeks when I'm would be devastated to be without it. I can live without it for a week or so that's okay. And I could ignore it. It's just I wish I'd never noticed it, but I always would notice it, because I do notice fine details like that. So if it comes to it, I could just ignore it and think, well, it'll do till stage 2. Because it's funny, I was thinking of a few things that I might just leave till generation 2 of VR, because Claire was asking me like what I'd want for my birthday, and I was like, well, don't really need a new graphics card. That TP cast thing is great, but I was like, if that's out now, you know what? The next VR will probably be wireless. So why should I get it now? I was reeling loads of add-ons and accessories for VR, my Vive, but ultimately for everyone, I was just kind of like, you know what? Rather than get all that now, I think they've had enough of my money. We're near 800 quid or whatever it was. I think it'd be wiser, instead of spending 200 on the wireless solution and then 100 on a tracker, and then another 100 on the deluxe headset. All these things that I wouldn't mind, they all seem like no-brainers as how you would create the next generation of it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I can spend 400 quid on accessories and be on Gen 1, or have 400 odd quid towards Gen 2 when it comes, and sort of have it all new and shiny. So I've sort of got over that a little bit.
Or buy a Switch.
Or buy a Switch. I've got my Switch money still.
Right.
Just sitting there, but I've resisted that again. I was in the toy shop the other day, and actually it was good because they answered the question for me. I said, "You got any Switches?" They said, "No." I said, "Okay," and I was like, "Nice one." They had Zelda everywhere, and they had loads of Zelda Wii U copies as well for like 40 quid, and I was just like, "Oh, babe, I wish I'd never sold my Wii U. Why did I do it? I should have just kept it." Oh, never again will I sell the previous console in advance of without knowing what the next console is going to be. It's the biggest mistake I've ever made. Well, that's probably being a bit generous. But so yeah, I could probably, worst case scenario, I could ignore the blemish and just wait till next gen. Well, actually, yeah, that's not worst case. That's kind of middle case. Best case, I get in touch with them and they fix it, and it's a really good, really good experience
that you can share on the pod.
That I'll share on the pod, yeah. And I suppose the third one, the worst case scenario, is support's a nightmare. They convinced me to sending it back to them. I have to pay to send it back to them. It comes back in bits in a box. I'm having an email conversation to explain that. They don't believe it. You know where I'm going. And I have to send it back. They won't send me an RMA. The RMA gets lost.
Oh my God, you really have got worst case, haven't you, in your head? It's really funny. You're like, best case, I send it off and everything's fine. And then worst case, you've spent hours thinking about this.
But what if this? But what if this? Well, these are the horror stories I've read.
But it's not going to happen. Trust me.
I've got the Chess and Guarantee.
I'm basing it on nothing, but trust me.
I love it. The Antony Chess and Guarantee.
Hey,
if it goes wrong,
that's like the Nintendo seal of quality. That is.
It is exactly like that. So, so that's a bit of bad news for me, but interesting to share on the pod because we can see how my adventure goes over the next few weeks. I'll let you know next week whether I've decided to ignore it or plucked up the courage to step into support. Also, I saw some bargains. Obviously, I haven't done much this week, but so I looked for some bargains to let everybody know about. And what did I see? Well, Square Enix are doing a spring surprise box. These are both for PC only, these bargains, I'm afraid, because they tend to get, I think, the best deals sometimes. Spring surprise box includes, for £9.99, you get Just Cause 3 for definite, and you get 3 other mystery games.
Oh,
maybe it's worth a punt.
Yeah.
I reckon I might do this. I think you might get like Hitman Season 1 with it or something like that. Not Season 1, Episode 1 maybe. Episode 1 as one of the things of the 3 others. And I wouldn't mind Hitman. Just Cause would be okay, wouldn't it, to run around in?
Yep.
So, if you're a PC gamer and you're a bit, I was going to say a bit bored, but, probably be difficult to be a bit bored at the moment. But if you're looking for a bit of a gamble, you've got £10, you want to just have a surprise with it, and you've always liked the idea of having it Just Cause, but can never be bothered paying full price, that might be a good thing to drop £10 on. Buy this Square Enix Spring Surprise box, get Just Cause 3 and 3 other mystery games. Woo! I'm quite intrigued as what they will be. I almost want to do it just to find out. It tempts me. It's like get this random code for 99p, and you think you're going to get some AAA game, and then you get like, I don't even know what, something you never heard of from the millions of bad games on Steam. And the other good deal I found, get this, mate, this is PC one as well. Lego Worlds PC plus DLC from cdkeys.com, this one. The other one, you just get it from Square Enix store. This is from cdkeys.com. £10.99.
What?
It only came out the other week.
It really did. It really did.
And it's with it includes the DLC as well. So
wow.
That is another deal that I think is really good. I'm also quite tempted for this as well, because I quite like the idea of Lego Worlds. That's why I said last week, get Nicola on Lego Worlds, but you were like, she wouldn't play it. But yeah, I like the idea of this.
Yeah.
Free, sort of creative sort of game like Minecraft. It's almost, Minecraft robbed it off Lego, and now Lego's doing doing their Minecraft thing, doing a bit of a free-for-all creation thing.
That's really cool.
So yeah,
that sounds really cool.
Good deals. So that's about it for me. What about you, sir?
Well, it's quite funny that you mentioned Lego, because it was really funny on Saturday. We were going out for dinner on Saturday, but before we went out, Nicola was just playing she was kind of mopping up the achievements on Lego Star Wars, but she's been playing for quite a while. So she got like 1,000 achievements, and then I went, and I was reading achievement guide, just kind of guiding her on the last couple. I was like, right, you got to do this and you got to do that, like be kind of Han and Chewie on the Millennium Falcon and stuff like that. And I went, there's also, because we got the special edition, I said, there's also some DLC. So suddenly it took her 100% complete. It took it all the way down to 87% complete. She was not, because
she screamed.
Yeah, she was not happy, because it was like literally there's 2 DLCs and they've got kind of get all the mini kits and do all of this and do all of that. So I think there's about like 6 or 7 achievements in each of these kind of DLCs. So she was like, it was really funny. She was elated for at least about 15 minutes and then kind of took it right down to 87%. She was not happy with me, I can tell you that.
So you let her have her moment.
I did.
Just sitting there going, yeah, you have your moment, and I'm going to rip that rug out from right under you.
So let me just download this Poe Dameron extra level for you. So I think they're just kind of like very small, very quick levels. She may even be playing it as we pod, because I think she kind of wants that completionist in her, or just wants that kind of tick. So yeah, so there was that. That kind of reminded me when you were talking about Lego. But apart from that, this week I think kind of one of the big things I've been doing is I've been watching Iron Fist. So Iron Fist started on Netflix. The entire 13-episode run was uploaded on Netflix on Friday, I believe, and so we started watching that. So we started watching that on Sunday. Sat down and kind of watched a couple of episodes, and we kind of like gave it the three episode Chesson challenge, which this kind of did pass with flying colours. I'm really enjoying it. So I think we're now 4 or 5 episodes in. 4 episodes. We watched the 4th yesterday. So we're we're 4 episodes in, and I'm really enjoying it. It's not as good as maybe Daredevil, but Nicola was saying it's definitely better than Luke Cage, not Nick Cage.
Is it better than Nick Cage?
It's better than
well?
Nick Cage.
Where does Nick Cage rate?
Nick Cage is just so low now. I actually the other day on Sky, complete tangent, they had like National Treasure 3, and I was like, oh my god, this is what Nick Cage has just resulted now. He is just nothing. But anyway, back to kind of Luke Cage. She said it's better than Luke Cage, not as good as Jessica Jones or Daredevil, but I'm definitely enjoying it. I'm liking it. It's has some parallels to Donald Trump in places, which was quite interesting, but it's very good. Like I say, I'm enjoying the story. I want to kind of know what happens more, but I think for me, the kind of draw with Iron Fist is it's a character that I don't really know in the Marvel universe. So whenever I've kind of been buying comic books, I've never really kind of read a lot of Iron Fist comics, and he's been in and out of the Avengers and some big kind of overarching ones, but I don't really know a lot about him. So it's quite nice to kind of get this kind of origin story of this character that I don't really know. And he will also be he's the last piece of the puzzle in the Defenders puzzle, which is the Netflix Marvel U, which is the Defenders, which we'll be getting very soon, which is Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, not Nick Cage, Daredevil, and this. So it's all shaping up to be quite a nice little kind of shindig. So it's quite nice to kind of have that rounded off, and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, that's cool. I read a comment from a friend the other day, and they summed it up in this way, and you'll be able to... Sounds like maybe this is the right ballpark. They said it says a lot for the quality of the Netflix Marvel films that even though this is the poorest, it's still an intriguing and good watch.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I don't agree with Nicola's Luke Cage, because I loved Luke Cage from the start to the end. But absolutely, even the low ones even the kind of low hanging fruits are still watchable, and you still go, right, let's watch another episode. The great thing about Netflix is it just gets to the credits and then it just gives you another one. We're like, should we watch another one? Absolutely. And we did that a couple of times, which was quite nice to kind of that you're drawn in to the characters. So it was really cool. So I'm enjoying it.
Cool. I keep thinking about Nick Cage though.
Yes.
All the way through that, I keep picturing him saying, "Not the bees, not the bees."
I'm sure I've got Nick Cage impression in me, but I just can't. It won't come. It won't come. So yeah,
I can't do an impression of him, but he always does that look, doesn't he?
Yes.
That sort of that hurt look as he stares in the sky in sorrow,
or that crazed look that he had in Face
crazy
Off.
Look,
the
yeah.
Face Off.
Oh
my god, when he's the priest at the start.
That's his versatility there, right there. You've got both ends of the spectrum.
Wow, what a thespian this man is. So that's what I've been doing this week. So what have you been playing?
I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn.
Right.
And I've completed. Well, I haven't 100% completed Horizon Zero Dawn. I think I did 50% of Horizon Zero Dawn, but I completed the story.
Yay! Well done.
And I enjoyed it. It was brilliant. And I'm missing Aloy now. I genuinely, it's not happened for a while, but I did it, and then I wandered around and did a few other things. But I mentioned this before. You know what it's like with me. Once I've done the quest, it's sort of the purpose diminishes within me to potter about. It's strange. Once I haven't finished the main story, I'm quite happy doing side quests and pottering about, doing my own thing. But once I have seen the end, it has such an effect on me. Usually it's like, well, that's it, you've done it, Daz.
Yeah.
And I know that I could go here and there and do a million other things, but it all feels like there's less impact, there's less reason to do it. It's kind of like, yeah, whatever. I don't think there's been a game for years that I've felt that there's been reason to do that unless there's been a particular challenge. Like on Final Fantasy VII, in the days when I didn't even know that you could carry on. Well, you can't really carry on when the game ends in that, but I remember I'd completed it and a guy told me about Emerald and Ruby Weapon and the Knights of the Round Materia and loads of things that were really difficult to do within the game.
Yeah.
And I got a guidebook then and started like working towards that, and that was quite good. But that was a long time ago. Well, these days, once I finish a game, it's kind of like I tried as well with that. I thought, because I found another cauldron, and I thought, right, I'll do this cauldron, And that was good, and I did the cauldron. Unfortunately, it wasn't a very long one. It just sort of got to the end quite quickly. And then there was a thunderjaw at the end that you had to fight, which was cool.
Right.
I laid my traps, had a thing, looked at his weak points, laid traps all around the force field before I let the force field down. He came charging at me. I dodged out of the way, explosions as the traps went off. It was a good battle. But yeah, I sort of did that, walked out. It's like, oh, now you can override this, that, and the other robot. I was kind of like, yeah, well, whatever. It doesn't matter. I've completed it, haven't I? But I thought the end was really good. You see, you get to a certain point in the story, it sort of drags you along. You can obviously go and do what you want. And that's a weird thing with open world games, isn't it? It's kind of like, the world's about to end. I'll just go fishing for a few weeks. You know, all open games
go
have
and do
got
that fetch quest for me.
yeah, it's like the worst possible things happen to the whole world, and like some old man needs you to go and root about for his bottle of whiskey in a river somewhere, and you go and do that instead. It's like, well, I'll do that for a week, and I'll come back to you. So yeah, it gets you, and obviously, yeah, you can potter about, do what you want, but it really gives you a good feeling of urgency. And the story gets really good, and it does. I did feel sort of very much pulled along through the story, which was great. And also the different where the quests were taking you, they take you all over that map. Really, towards the end, you're going from one end of the map to the other end of the map to go to the different places that you need to go, which is great. So it's giving you that opportunity to explore. Obviously, you can fast travel as well, but have loads of just different adventures,
right,
and things with the different monsters, different areas on the map, things you might not have seen, bandit camps, discover new species, all that sort of stuff. So it just by following the main quest along, because it just takes you through the entire expanse of the world, pretty much from north, east, south, west, all points of the compass there. It gives you the opportunity to see a lot just by following the main story, and you can see things around, points around you that you can get involved in. And I did. I got a bit distracted and did this and that. But when it got to, I don't know, probably the last 5 missions, say, it was like, right, oh yeah, this is quite exciting. It's like, and I just followed them through. It was really awesome. I don't want to spoil anything. Obviously, we never spoil anything, but you get a big battle and excitement and stuff. You get a good end fight and a good ending. I enjoyed it. Then I sat right through the credits in my tradition of sitting through the credits that I know you do too. Oh man, I start to regret it these days. Like half an hour.
Really?
Half an hour. In the old days, I never dared to skip them. And this is the thing. I think most of it. I always think if I skip the credits, I'll miss something.
Yes.
Because they'll attach something to the credits. But these days, it seems to say X to skip. And I'm pretty sure if you skip it, you'll get your extra bit anyway.
But you can never be sure.
But you never know. I know, and I'm too scared because I think, well, if I do skip it, you've waited 10 minutes. It's like, oh, if I do skip it, I'll have to sit through, half an hour or whatever it is, and you never know when it's going to end either. I love it when I start seeing the Havoc writing come up. It's like, oh, it's going to end now. It's going to end. So there is what do you call it? A post-credits scene, and that's really good too. Worth watching. But yeah, probably worth pressing X. Probably worth skipping the credits for and getting to it quick if you're that way inclined. I like to have reverence though. And yeah, it was a great game. Absolutely love it. And I'll talk about it a little bit in the news, so I won't go on about it too much now. But yeah, I packed it away to Boomerang as I got it from them, which is first time I think I've got a game that I've wanted so much, like from Boomerang. I never thought I'd use them for that, but it's worked out well. And yeah, when I was in the toy shop where I asked about the Switch, they had a big cardboard cutout for Horizon Zero Dawn, and Aloy was stood there with her bow, and I was like, "Oh, Claire, look, it's Aloy. Oh, I miss her. I miss that game. It's just because it's just so beautiful."
Yes,
and it's kind of like I miss that standard of finesse already, and the smoothness, and just everything that game is, the quality that game allows me to enjoy.
Wow.
I instantly miss it. So it's kind of like if I did still have it, I would put it on, not really to do anything else, just crawl or run through the grass and the trees. And I do miss that because there's something about that game that is intoxicating with its with its beauty. So, been playing that, and apart from that, we've started playing Rock Band again. So we were playing Beatles Rock Band, and I ordered some drums. I ordered the drum kit because I did have a drum kit, but I got rid of the drum kit for about 50p because I didn't think I'd ever need it again because it wasn't compatible. But then it came out that it was compatible with the adapter for Xbox One. So that doesn't even matter. I'm not even playing it on Xbox One. I'm playing in Beatles Rock Band on 360. So I've ordered some drums anyway. So I've been learning the drums. Did you like that?
It's like you play the drums. James will be proud. James will be proud when he knows that you're learning the drums.
Wow. And the other night I was playing it.
Yeah.
And it's really, I remember I didn't play it much. Like when I had the drums for years before, hardly used them probably once, and then just thought it's too hard. And then I got them really because Sam can't do the guitar, and I thought he can bash the drum, so that's why I got them. Really, I thought Sam can join in, and then me and Claire on guitar, Sam's on the drums. This could be good, and it is. It's brilliant because he can join in, and he's good. He's good at the drums as well. He can blooming do it.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, so that's class. But so I thought, I'll have a go. When I was setting them up, making sure they all worked when they arrived, I had to have a go, and I thought, this is going to be solid. So I just started with, because it's got lessons and stuff, it breaks you in sort of slowly. And I just started playing them, and then I was like, I'm bored of the lessons. I want to play a song because I like the songs. Instead of just, so I put a song I liked on, and then did it on easy, and I was like, and it was one of the easier songs on easy. So it was okay, and I was like, this is really, it just felt really good. And after doing this sort of tutorial, it showed me how to hold the sticks and things. And then I went a little bit harder, down the song list, and it started to introduce the foot pedal. And at first it was difficult, and then all of a sudden it clicked, and I was like, this is great. So over the week, I sort of practiced a little bit more and more, and then went up to, easy, medium. I got to medium. And I was so proud of myself to be medium on drums. I was like, because it feels so good. And I kept thinking, this, I could actually play a real drum kit. And then I think it was on Friday night we were playing it. And I said to Claire, I sort of knocked it up to hard on some of the songs. And I'd been playing it for an hour or so I was quite, sort of into it. My muscles were loose, and I was drumming okay. My foot was okay. It wasn't aching when I was doing the kick pedal and stuff. And I got into this stage, and I said, Claire, this is amazing. It's like I've been playing this for that long now that I'm just reacting. My body's just reacting to the instructions on the screen, and when it shows me that orange bar for the foot pedal, I'm just doing it. It's like my foot is just doing it. So I'm just a conduit for what's on screen. I said, I'm just like a conduit. So I'm seeing these instructions, and they're just going through my eyes and out through my hands and my foot. And I said, and this is awesome. I said, whatever it shows me.
How drunk were you?
How did you know that I had one or two drinks at that time? And I was just like,
wow, the music notes are in me, dude.
I was like, wow, man, I can read it. It's talking to me. But honestly, man, I was just
star.
I felt like I was, man. I was like, and it just, honestly, it was just like, it was playing me.
Wow.
It was playing me. It was like
cuckoo cuckoo.
Yeah, it was cuckoo cuckoo, boy. So that was awesome. So Beatles Rock Band, still loving it, and I'll probably be playing it for a while now. Especially
awesome.
Sam will get home from school, and he's like, what should we do? We're getting to read his book and do some stuff. And then, what do you want to do, Sam? And he's been like, Beatles Rock Band. And I'm just like, yeah. And he's got, and he's there drumming. He keeps playing. The ones he likes are, he's into Back in the USSR at the moment, which you can do on easy.
Right.
And Dig a Pony, he's enjoying.
Awesome
too.
song.
And I'm just like, this is class. This is absolute class. This is his introduction to the Beatles.
Wow. And
then there we are, like the Osmonds. Got the microphone out and everything. Got it on the stand. Put that in front of Claire. She's on bass, singing. I'm on lead, and Sam was on the drums. A little family band.
God, I want to come to your house and just install a camera somewhere so that you don't know about. Just to capture these gorgeous with moments.
The wife and family Beatles nights. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. Oh yeah, that was another thing actually about the Beatles. So because I was on an old 360,
yeah,
I was like, there's not enough songs. I'm sure we had Abbey Road on here, and Claire was like, yeah, we did. And so I tried to go to the store, but I think we reported on this months ago, and I had an inkling, but I tried it anyway. Went to the store, and it went, no, store doesn't work. And I was like, oh, Claire, they stopped it because of licensing. You can't go to the store anymore. You can't buy the tunes. And I was like, oh, no. And Claire went, well, why don't you look through your purchase history? I was like, genius. So I looked through the purchase history and found the albums that I'd bought.
Oh, wow.
They were there ready to download. So even if you can't buy them new, but if you have bought them in the past, you can still get them.
Oh, that's really cool.
So I got my Abbey Road album and I got my Rubber Soul album, and I think maybe some others, but they were the main ones I wanted. And I was just like, oh, demon, this is so good. And on the way down the list, I mean, this is a long list I had to go down, because it's in date order, isn't it?
Right.
And I had to go down all the way to when I was playing Beatles Rock Band, which is who knows when. But on the way down the list, I saw that I'd bought Rock Band 3 digitally, which I'd forgotten about. So I downloaded Rock Band 3, and I was like, oh, classic, we've got Rock Band 3 now as well. Without having to switch console, we can stay on the 360 and play Rock Band 3. Then I was kind of like, oh, now I'm going to have to see what I bought on Rock Band 3. And you know, the only way to do that, it was to go through the blooming store, every song individually. So I had to sit there through 4,020 tunes to see if they've been purchased or not. Which I did.
Yeah.
And I acquired one.
Oh, really? Oh, no.
There was only one. Everything else had imported in.
Is it like, have I bought this one? No. Have I bought this one? No.
Yeah, 4,020 times. It was an absolute nightmare.
Oh, my God.
And I was convinced that I'd exported Rock Band 2 to Rock Band 3. But I think what I actually did was do 1 to 2. But maybe didn't do 2 to 3.
Right.
Anyway, so there you go. It's been a whole Rock Band whirl of enjoying Beatles Rock Band, acquiring, surprisingly, Rock Band 3 that I'd forgotten about, looking for songs fruitlessly, but at least I know, because otherwise it'd niggle at me. I'd always had that would have always been a job I had to do. Enjoying the Rock Band 3 tunes. Wow, it's been a musical week.
Awesome.
Brilliant. What about you?
I've got nothing after that. But for me, I've still been playing Zelda. I'm still kind of absolutely just addicted and drawn in and amazed and in love with Zelda Breath of the Wild. I'm now attacking my second dungeon. I've done the puzzle part of it. It's really interesting actually, because I've done the puzzle element. So each of these dungeons you get kind of like a puzzle, and then after that there is a boss. There is a version of a boss, and so I did the puzzle. That took a while, to do. So I did that, managed to maneuver all around this dungeon and doing what I needed to do. And then I kind of came up against the boss, who was just taking me out with one hit. I was like, okay, what do I need? Oh, I'm dead. Okay, what do I need? Oh, I'm dead. So I'm like, okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm just like come away from the dungeon. I've fast travelled out of the dungeon, and I can go straight back to that point again. So now I'm trying to find what I need in order to take on that boss. So that is now my quest, to get myself some good gear. I'm now on a quest to get some good gear, and I need gear that is basically kind of lightning proof or electric proof, because this boss comes at you with like big bolts of electricity. So I need to be able to withstand that, basically. So that is my quest now. So I'm going back through all the villages that I've discovered, trying to find if they've got any shops, if anyone can sell me any gear. If not, how do I find it? So this is kind of, I've created almost like a mini quest within the game now to get my gear up to a level where I can take on this boss.
Love it. So you're creating your own adventures within the game.
Absolutely. I'm sure this is just a part of Zelda, but it's, yes, absolutely. So I'm now trying to do that. So they keep talking about the Master Sword. The Master Sword keeps getting mentioned. And I was chatting to James today, and he was saying that he's picked up a shiny new Master Sword, but I haven't got there yet. And that was going to be my next quest after I've done this dungeon. But I now need to I'm now back out in the area, and it was just absolutely superb. There was a quest that really made me chuckle, and it's hard not to share it on here, but it's kind of really made me chuckle. It involved kind of disguising myself. I would say that for people who are playing Zelda, and they will know what I'm talking about. So I had to disguise myself, and it just really made me chuckle. It was such a great kind of puzzle that you had to unlock, and that was really cool. And so I am just I can't stop playing this game, and like I say, the dungeon took a while, and then when I found that I couldn't do that, I then had to kind of change what I was doing, and it's really funny because you're like, right, okay, I'm looking for gear, and then suddenly I'll see a tower in the distance that's red, and when you kind of change the tower, you have to scale the tower. When you change the tower from red to blue, the area opens up on the map, so you then it just shows you the terrain. Still doesn't give you any points, still doesn't tell you where the shrines are, but it lets you know what the terrain looks like. And I saw a kind of a red tower, I saw many red towers in the distance, and I was like, oh, I've got to go and get that one now. So off I went, and so one whole kind of evening of like a playthrough was just me getting to this tower, and then it was hard as nails to scale this tower because there was just creatures everywhere around it, so I had to take them all out kind of one at a time, and it was just so much fun. But when you got to the top of that tower, you just felt so badass. It was just like, I love this game. And
you stood at the top, feeling of accomplishment, succeeded.
Absolutely. Put my iPad into the little docking station, it dripped some water on it, and I was just like, yes, I can go to bed now. The interesting thing is that Nicola, now that she's kind of 87% complete on Lego Star Wars, she's starting to look at Zelda, and she started going, I like that. That looks really cool. I think that could be my next game. So I'm kind of a little bit worried because I might get my Switch stolen from me, like mine, and she'll just take it. So, but so it was just like, it's really interesting that she's kind of going, and I keep telling her things, not any spoilery things, but some things just because it just sounds like such a great game, and and it is. It's just such a, I've been gushing about it now for about 3 weeks, and I'm sure there should be a point where I stop gushing about Zelda, but it is just it's just absolutely amazing.
I think it sounds like it deserves to be gushed about. It sounds amazing. Are you still playing predominantly on the console itself, or in docked, or a mixture of both now?
Do you know what? I'm playing a lot handheld. I'm playing an awful lot of handheld. Like even on Saturday, because Nicola had the big TV, so I was just sitting there kind of next to her, and I just had it kind of in handheld mode. So I had a bit of a session. I woke up early on Saturday morning and played for a good couple of hours then, and Sunday as well. So I played a good couple of hours kind of in the big screen. But I'm just as happy docked, sitting in bed. I think it's actually Sunday morning. I didn't go downstairs. I just ended up, like, Nicola brought me up a cup of coffee, and I just stayed in bed. And she was watching Gardener's Question Time or whatever. She was watching Gardener's World, and I was just like, I'm just sitting in bed. That's how badass we are. She's watching Gardener's World, and I'm playing Switch, and I just kept playing Zelda until the battery ran out. And at that point, I was like, guess I got to get up now. And it was just like, had some breakfast, and had a couple of cups of coffee, and it was really cool. I just really enjoyed it. And even though when you put Zelda into the big screen, you really get this really kind of sense of grandeur that the game has, especially when you can see those sprawling landscapes. But there's something great about having the same style graphics, in your hand, and just laying in bed and being really lazy on a Sunday morning.
Yeah, I really love the style of it. I know it's it's a bit, that cel-shaded sort of thing. It sort of lets, what am I trying to say? It kind of gets away with it because it's not so, you can get away with not being so technical. But I love it. I think it looks like you said. I think you said last week, Studio Ghibli-esque.
Yes, there's been some moments.
I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's been some moments where I've just, like, in the big screen and also in the handheld mode, that I've just gone, wow. I've just gone, oh wow, that is, whether it's like the sun catches the heels or something, and it's just absolutely just stunning. And I've just been like, wow, this is amazing.
Are you finding the weapon degradation a pain? Are you all right with it? Because some people have said it's a bit of a quibble. It's been a bigger quibble for some people than others, and we won't get into all that. But more and more people have mentioned it. Angry Joe mentioned it on his Zelda review that he did recently. He still gave it a 9 out of 10, but he said he did a little sketch where he was like going up to a goblin or something, and the goblin's like, "Are you sure you want to use that weapon on me? Because I'm only a low-level goblin, you know, and you will probably break it." And he like goes, "Oh, maybe not." And he brings out another sword, and he goes, "That's also a pretty good sword." He goes, "I'm not worth it." And then, like, in the end, he sort of walks off. So I just wondered, because he says that you know, that's a bit of a gripe, but overall he's saying it's fantastic. And I get the impression that it is fantastic because everybody says it's fantastic. But is that a bit of a pain? Or does it not matter because there's so many weapons in the world that you just break one, you get a new one really quickly, so you're not that bothered, and it gives you that view of them all? Because I'll tell you something, with me, if they didn't break, I would probably miss. You could argue for me that I would probably miss out because I would just stick with the one that I like, and I probably wouldn't change. So I'd be missing out maybe because there's loads of weapons in the game, isn't there?
There, absolutely.
So what's your take on that?
I mean, to start off with, when I first started playing the game many hours ago, you know, when I first started playing the game, the first time I did that, and I had a really good sword, because you just pick up a branch and you start hitting things with the branch, and you're like, they break, and you're like, okay, that just breaks. And I didn't know about the degradation, so then I picked up quite a badass club, and I was like, I like this is great, and this club was great. And then that broke, and I was like, oh, you know, I'm like, oh, okay, you know, and it was a bit annoying to start off with, but as you progress through the game, you learn to conserve those. So I've got a really good sword that is it's a really long reach. It bursts people into flames, and I use that in special occasions. You know, when my dad's coming round, when we get a cup of tea. No, it's like special occasions only. So I just like if I'm in a real a big boss, or there's a big boblin or something like that, then I'll quickly switch to that and take it out, and then switch back to another one. And it also happens with your crossbow as well, your bow and arrow. Your crossbow will just break. Your bow will just break as well. So again,
do you have a meter so that you're expecting it, or
no,
it doesn't just break?
No, you start using it, and then the text comes up on the screen and says, your weapon is about to break, and then obviously if you just ignore that, it just then breaks.
So you pop that away and swap out. Can you swap out in mid fight?
Yes, yeah. You just press one of the D-pads. You just press one of those, and you can change your bow, your shield, and your sword.
Okay, and are the weapons plentiful?
Yes, absolutely. I'm forever filling up. I guess if I started to, I'm doing even more and more shrines now. And when you every time you get 4 shrines, you can go to a stone, and you can then pray. And then when you pray, they say, right, do you want more health? Do you want more? Hearts? Do you want more stamina? And also, there's the maraca. Creature who I've lost. I do not know where that creature is at all, and I've been getting loads of cuckoo nuts, but I can't find that creature, because when you trade those in, they give you more inventory slots.
That's good.
So at the moment, I haven't maxed out all of my pickup, so I'm just picking up everything. And with the moment you pick up one thing, so if you pick up an apple, if you pick up more apples, it just multiplies that, just adds that to there. It doesn't.
Oh, they stack.
Yeah, it doesn't take up a slot. But if you then got maybe some bobbling guts, that's another slot. So, and I haven't got the max of that yet, but I've definitely maxed my shields, my swords, and also my bows as well.
Wow. What would you say is your favourite aspect of it? Would it be the shrines, the dungeons, or just sort of the freedom? What's been your favourite moment? Has it been sort of just enjoying, like maybe there's been a bit where you've just been galloping across the open plain on your horse, and you've just thought, my goodness, this is, what bit is, or there may be many, is there one defining sort of moment? I know this is putting you on the spot a bit, and I'm sorry about that, but where you're playing it away, and all of a sudden, then, as I say, there might have been many times, but you just thought, my goodness me, this is a game. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Has there been a few? I bet there's been a few, but can you think of any examples just to whet my appetite?
Absolutely. I mean, completing the first dungeon for me was like, yes, this is a Zelda game. This is the feeling I got when I played Ocarina of Time. This is that. This is the when I finished that, and you kind of almost get a kind of a little feeling of that whenever you finish a shrine, because each shrine is just a puzzle, and I love because they're using everything, whether it's your magnetizing stuff, whether it's stasis, it's just uses all of the tools that you have. Each shrine is different, and I'm really enjoying that as well. But I think the first dungeon, when I finished the first dungeon, I was just, because it took me about 15 times to take the boss out, there was elation there, but it was the whole thing, that puzzle first and then the boss fight, all of that just really clicked. And so that was one of the real highlights, and the other is just how open this world is. Whenever you're kind of, okay, there's a bit of draw distance, but whenever you're kind of walking through the whatever it is, the forest or the desert, or you're climbing a mountain, you can just see where the towers are, and one of the best things is when you can just suddenly see a shrine just pops up, and you get that moment, there's a shrine there, and you mark it using your tablet, you mark it with that, and then maybe you might just start heading that way, and you just ignore everything else. You forget your quests, you forget your side quests, you forget the conversations you've had that are little kind of mini quests, you forget the main quest, because all you're concentrating on is just getting to that shrine, and then they become a travel point. So it just helps you kind of travel around the map and just jumping all around the map. So I think it is that. It's that the first time I came across a Goron, the first time I found a shrine hidden, it's all of those kind of things are just constantly just kind of just making this world feel huge. Because when you played Ocarina of Time, you would go you'd go across Hyrule fields and you would go to those different areas, but it felt quite small in comparison. Where this, a playthrough, because I hadn't found a shrine, one of my playthroughs one night was just getting from one bit of the map to the other, and I'm like, right, I'm going to go to bed now, but I'll pick that up again in the morning. But I had such fun getting there, and talked to a couple of people, found a horse that I could then kind of slowly creep up behind and mount, and there's those kind of things. And it's all of the sum of all of those parts that are making this kind of just one of my favourite gaming experiences in a while.
Wow, sounds awesome. Unceasingly unfurling discovery.
Yes.
Just sounds good, It just sounds it's bad for me because Horizon Zero Dawn was like an antidote, but that's gone.
Yes,
so it makes me feel the pull of Zelda more, I must say.
Well, one thing you shouldn't jump into, and that's the other game that I've been playing this week. So as we were talking about last week, a Mass Effect Andromeda. We had a 10-hour trial on EA Access unlocked last week, and the full game is now out as we pod. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to jump in. I think it was Friday night, it might have been. I'm going to jump into Mass Effect. I'm going to have a look at this trial, going to have a look, see what it's like, and have a bit of a play. And I must say that to start off with, I just wanted to go back to Zelda. I really just was like, no. I was like, I love Mass Effect. I'm a big space nerd. I'm just a big space nerd, and I absolutely love Mass Effect. Mass Effect 2 was just amazing. So I was like, right, I love this. Is great. I'm going to play this, but I think I did it again, and I've set my expectation just too high, because Mass Effect just starts. The start is really bad. A lot of people have been talking about how jarring the kind of eyes and the mouth movements are, and it just all feels just a little bit clunky. It just all feels a little bit, and the first 45 minutes of Mass Effect Andromeda, I was just like, yeah, I don't like this game. What have they done? I'm like, what have they done? But I must admit, by the time I got to the end of my trial, or the end of my tether, I don't know which one came first, I was enjoying Mass Effect. So I'd landed on a planet, I was doing some scanning, I was improving, I was doing some researching, I was doing some missions, and I was really enjoying it. I started to just kind of, it's still not fantastic, but I was enjoying it, and I was like, actually, this isn't as bad. There still was some really glitchy sounds and really glitchy effects were happening. And I understand that today, because obviously the game came out today, I think there is a 2 gig day one patch. Everything gets a 2 gig day one patch these days, but there's a 2 gig day one patch that is supposed to kind of it's various bug fixes and stability improvements. And I haven't played the Horde mode. I haven't played the multiplayer. I just played the single player. And towards the end, by the time I kind of had enough and I'd played enough, I would be happy to go back to Mass Effect Andromeda and continue going. That's the great thing about this trial. The story, the character that I built and what I'm doing just carries over to the full game. So this was, I got some achievements from the trial, which is a little bit cheeky.
Oh, that's
cool. Yeah,
it's
cheeky at the same time as it, because they know if you're a completionist, now you've got to go back and get those
of course.
rest of the achievements. But you got some achievements, which is really cool. But I played as Scott Ryder, which was the kind of male Shep of this game, who is the Pathfinder. So I played as that, and I just did the default. Because I was like, I'm not sure if I like this. I might even start again when the game comes out proper. So let's just kind of jump in. I didn't want to kind of get 2 hours down in the customization route. So I thought, right, I'll just use the default rider, and I'll just go for that and see what it is. And and it's okay, but I thought Mass Effect was better than this. I really did think that Mass Effect was better than this.
This is the thing, I think. Well, just to get it out there, it's off my list.
Really?
Yeah, I think, on the days coming up to review, there just seemed to be so much doubt, so many people.
So that's when the EA Access stuff came out.
Yeah, so many reports saying, it's okay, this sort of thing. And I don't know, I think you phrase it quite well when you say, my spider sense started tingling a little bit. And I just thought, oh dear, I just started to lose my faith in it. And then we got all the reviews, which I've read quite a few. I've read, a number of the reviews that, from guys that lean the way that usually agree with the way I think.
Right, and how's it reviewing?
It's getting mixed reviews. I mean, it's got a few 9s, it's got a few 8s.
Oh wow, really?
It's got a few 7s, and it's got a few 6s as well. Probably, and I think if the meta of all those, I think it's about 75 from yesterday. I haven't looked today. So a good score and things, and for maybe for a different game, then that would be fine. But the thing is, there's an expectation, isn't there? And there's a benchmark with Mass Effect.
There really is.
It's the same as if an Uncharted 4, if Uncharted 4 came out and started getting average reviews and people going, yeah, it's all right. I mean, some people don't like Uncharted 4 anyway. But say if the people that were giving the other ones 9s,
who are these people? Who are these people that don't like Uncharted 4? It's amazing.
It takes all sorts, doesn't it? But if the people that loved the series, then you start getting these reports saying, it's all right. I wish I wanted to love it more, this kind of thing. The alarm bells start ringing, don't they? And that's the impression that I got with this, and more so. And I sort of get the opinion with this game. I mean, there's been a quite an interesting post about a guy who allegedly worked at Bioware during the development.
Right. And
he listed bad conditions. He said that loads of people left during the development, which might go some way to explain the lack of polish. I think one quote I read said, it's somewhere in between unfinished and unpolished.
Right.
And it's somewhere in between those two. But anyway, it was to stop quoting other people.
No, I would totally agree with that, because it's like, for me, Mass Effect 2, I hold Mass Effect 2 up in really high regard, and I'm sure that was kind of, Game of the Year was uttered with Mass Effect 2, and it was just such an amazing game, and at the end, it just built to an incredible level, and this just doesn't. I mean, okay, I'm only 6 hours in, but I'd rather be playing Zelda. I'd rather be playing Horizon Zero Dawn. I'd rather be playing, Nier Automata. I'd rather be playing everything else apart from this game right now.
This is the thing. Where's the draw? It's a very busy time for starters with loads of quality games, and there's a standard that's been set by Mass Effect where I don't think it's unreasonable to expect a Mass Effect game to be hitting the kind of not review scores, but to be hitting the kind of what's the word I'm looking for? The sort of pull, hitting the sort of excitement, pulling the strings, making you want to play it to the level of Horizon Zero Dawn, Uncharted 4, Zelda, all these amazing games. I would be expecting it to be up there with them because that's the reputation of the last trilogy. So I think it's reasonable to expect that. I think it's reasonable that there's an expectation that this game will be up there with them because it's part of that family. I know it's sort of its own thing, but they're using the Mass Effect name. It's Bioware. There's an expectation there. There really is. And for me, if I think about it, I think this feels more like if it had been done by the community. Sometimes the community will pull together and create a game. Like you'll get an extra. Like I was looking at Portal the other day, and I noticed that there's a whole extra Portal 2 adventure called Portal Mel, and that had been made, and it looked really good, and it had been made by the community.
Wow. Okay.
And I was like, well, and that's free if you've got Portal 2 on PC. I haven't played it yet. And the community have made like Half-Life games and things like that. And this kind of strikes me. It's probably not even as polished as that, actually. I might be giving it too much credit. But for me, just it's not just the graphics being, to me, they look below par, and the animations being not great, lots of clips coming out of dodgy animations and things like that. It's not just the fact that apparently the writing's not very good. It's the sum of all the parts, isn't it? I think, a game like that can get away with probably not the best graphics, not the best frame rate, and bugs. Bioware are sort of known for their bugs. But I think it's the writing that binds it, really. So maybe it is the writing. If there was a demon story there, like if you told me... Because there's many a game that hasn't got good graphics, but can be an amazing game. I mean, you could have an amazing story game that's a text adventure, couldn't you? So a game like that, it's a space opera, isn't it? It's a story in space. And the story's going to hook you. Apparently the combat's really good. But
I'm enjoying it. The only thing I don't like is the cover system, because it does it automatically. So you come up to something and it just goes into cover, and then you move and they come out of cover. The amount of times I've been shot because I've come out of cover when I didn't want to come out of cover. I like Gears of War. You press,
that's your Gears of War muscle memory.
Exactly.
I was just going to say that
you press B and you just kind of get in there and you're there until you come out of it. And so that was one of the things that annoyed me at the start, when I was like, I'm not quite getting the control. I was pressing the wrong buttons because Zelda's kind of tried to remap my memory now. And it was just some things like that was really kind of just annoying me for a while.
Yeah, and The Witcher did that to me as well with Horizon. This is weird because the Horizon Zero Dawn reminded me of The Witcher quite a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so I started pressing triangle to jump. There must have been a subconscious thing. I was like, why do I keep pressing triangle to jump? And then I said, I'm sure it was triangle to jump on The Witcher. I said, this game is reminding me of Witcher 3 that much that subconsciously I'm hitting triangle to jump. And it was just so weird, but it's annoying. But on a game that's sort of beautiful and you really love, you forgive it, don't you? But when a game's got a load of other faults and it's annoying you with the controls, it's just like, it's just another thing on top of everything else. So yeah, it's off my list. I had it on my list to rent from Boomerang. I was thinking about buying it. And I just thought, no, you know what? I don't want it. I don't want it at all. If it's not... I just thought the quality of the games that we're playing at the moment, it's not hitting. No. And I can't justify 50 hours to play what's turning out to be an average at best game. I'm not interested in, even if it was free, because your time's worth. Your time is valuable, and I'm not willing to make that commitment into a game that I'm suspecting isn't as good as the last ones. The whole thing of games are supposed to get better with each iteration, aren't they? That's the thing. You go from strength to strength. Crikey. It's funny because when I went through my 360 purchases, I noticed that one of the things that I downloaded out of it, because I used to download everything, all the trailers and stuff, I downloaded the Mass Effect trailer, the original one, and watched it.
Right.
And it was weird because that was the best thing since sliced bread when I watched it. And watching it now, how you sort of remember it being amazing?
Yes.
It was really sort of, jerky. Graphics were a bit off and stuff. And I was like, oh, wow, you can really see it now, in hindsight, sort of thing.
I was very tempted to download Mass Effect 2 because you can get it, I think it's free as part of EA Access. I think they have it may have even been a Games of Gold. And I was very tempted to just kind of download that just to see, because in my head, I was like, Mass Effect 2 was better than this. You know,
that's what I was thinking.
The environments in Mass Effect Andromeda look really lush, and I'm sure they've got more detail, and I'm sure, but even kind of picking stuff up and just everything just doesn't feel right. I think there was someone who said, or it might have been a tweet, but it kind of said that this feels like Arkham Origins, you know, where it's the same stuff, but it's done by someone different, and it just feels weird, and it feels like someone,
a little bit off.
Yeah, exactly. It feels even the UI is very. I think IGN had a really good comparison video where they showed Mass Effect 2 to Mass Effect Andromeda, and the UI for that was just so much nicer than this minimalistic UI. And again, it's kind of what you were saying about not kind of polished.
Yeah, and it's a real shame because like you, I love Mass Effect. I fell in love with Mass Effect from the very first announcement of it. Went through the first one, second one, and third one, and loved them all with a very deep love. You know, I got so into it. I was so excited at the release of 2 and the release of 3. It was a big event for me. You know, Whittam household had flags out, man. Mass Effect Day. Yes, we're talking day off work, you know, sort of thing.
Wow.
And like this one, maybe we should have suspected a little bit because they hadn't shown much, have they? When you think how much they'd shown of, let's think of Horizon Zero Dawn, for instance. We all seen quite a lot of that, as if they're very proud to show it. And I feel that the development hadn't been of Mass Effect Andromeda. I don't think the developers have been so sort of open with their game until cause I was actually praising them for this because I liked it that it wasn't hyped for years. I liked that, but then it's kind of like I do like that. Don't get me wrong, I do like that, but now I think, was there another reason for it? Yeah,
but they could have easily have delayed this into the summer, couldn't they? They could have easily have said, "Do you know what? We've looked at the final build and we need some more time." So whether somebody at EA just said, "Right, no, we're not spending any more money on this. You know, you make DLC and then or you can patch it, but we need this out." You know, obviously it's year end, isn't it? You know, year end is a couple of weeks away. So whether they were needed to get it out before year end, I don't know, but this game, so far from what I've played, from like the 6 hours I played, I just feel that it could have easily, I mean, like you say, with the landscape as it is right now, someone smart at Bioware at EA could have just looked and went, no one's going to miss this if we just move it a couple of weeks, you know, or a couple of months.
People might be thankful. They'll be like, I can get through the other games, thank you.
Exactly.
You know, I'm happy to wait.
So I don't know if the because I think I've got a couple of hours left on that trial, so I don't know if that 2 gig patch that's out today, I don't know whether it's worthwhile trying it. So, you know, I'm playing it on my Xbox One S, obviously, because it's EA Access, and I'm getting HDR, but even that is not making it look as special as I thought it would be. You know, even, you know, the HDR pops in, I get the little HDR pops up on my TV, I'm like, yep, here we go. You know, but even that doesn't do it justice. You know, doesn't give anything else to it like it has done with Gears of War, with Forza Horizon. You know, it's just not with Horizon Zero Dawn. You know, it's just missing something. It really could have just done with a couple of more months, I think.
Wow, you can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear with a bit of HDR, can you?
There you go. That's your quote they should put on the box.
There you go. 2.5 stars. You can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear.
Jazz game is lost spark. Right, so let's start the news section. And in this week's news section, we have details about the For Honor DLC. We have the first PS Plus game for April, and also a Zelda-inspired smart home. But the first piece of news is with you.
It is. So, this is my Horizon Zero Dawn corner. Maybe a bit of a farewell corner, I suppose. Farewell, Aloy. It was such fun watching you grow up.
There is some DLC scheduled, though, as well, for Horizon.
I was going to get to that.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Why didn't I look at the news? Sorry, apologies. Forget that.
That was me, trying to dress it up. Ruined my little drama bit there. My farewell to Aloy.
Forget that, listeners. Sorry.
Never mind. But thanks for telling me. Thanks for telling me that some news about a game that I really love.
Why didn't I look at any of the news items that you put in the doc?
oh, it doesn't matter. We don't look at each other because it's a nice surprise to hear them, isn't it?
Yes. Sorry, go on, carry on in your corner.
No, don't be silly. I've lost it now. Well, first of all, sales figures.
Right.
Horizon Zero Dawn, how successful has it been? Well, we know it was successful, but it sold 2.6 million copies in 2 weeks.
Not bad.
Sony has revealed. No, it's not bad. It's Sony's most successful new franchise, which we knew already from its charts placement, really. But it's the most successful new IP for the PS4 since the launch of the PS4. So that's cool. Yeah. 2.6 million copies. And then this makes... We've discussed this. I think you've mentioned this before, Antony. It's like, what about the other 52 million people that own PS4s? What are they doing?
Why aren't they playing Horizon? What are you playing, people?
Everyone still be playing Zelda.
Yes.
They've all bought Switches. But yeah, it's like 2.6 million copies. That's amazing. But that's put into context. There's 50-odd million PS4s out there. So it's weird. Sony must be happy, and that's great. But you said this before, and I know I'm repeating it, but it's just like, well, when's the game going to come out that everyone's going to buy?
Yes.
Or do people just buy a PS4 for the Blu-ray player? Things like that. Or just the odd game, or just like as a bit of a smart TV extension. So yeah, amazing sales apparently, but a small percentage of PS4s that are out there in the wild, which is strange. But hooray for Zero Dawn anyway; it's done very well. Now, I was talking about the beauty of Zero Dawn, and I think some of the true beauty of the game I didn't even notice, and that is, I mean, I did stand around sort of with my jaw dropped, just looking around at the majesty of it all. But I didn't notice some of the details that some of the guys on NeoGAF, for instance, noticed. Like, if you are near a tree, for instance, there's ants carrying leaves moving around the trees.
No way, really?
I don't think I ever noticed that. But the screenshots, there's a NeoGAF thread showing details that you may appreciate in Zero Dawn. Now, it might have spoilers in it, so be careful if you want to watch, but I'll stick the link in on the page and have a look if you like. I probably did notice this, but I didn't notice it till I never sort of consciously noticed it till it was pointed out in this thread. And there's a few pictures, a few GIFs that just show these trees, and it looks like leaves are moving up and down the trunk. And if you look, you can see ants are carrying leaves on the trunks of the trees.
Wow.
People have taken screenshots of the insects that are buzzing around, and they're pretty vibrant. They're pretty well built. Butterflies, dragonflies, all sorts of little touches. But I think the pièce de résistance that I saw was brought to light by thisgengaming.com when they showed a GIF from in-game that shows that in Horizon Zero Dawn they've even put in the detail that puddles evaporate in real time when the sun comes out.
Wow, really?
And so, yeah, and so I watched it. I thought, I was expecting it to be, I don't know, I didn't think it would be true. And I looked at the GIF, and it's right. They've got a GIF of the puddle, and it's sunny, and I think it's probably sped up. And over time, the puddle evaporates.
Wow.
And then I presume when it rains again, it would refill. And it's just all these little details just add up to create just an amazing world. There's a GIF of Aloy fighting against, I'm not sure which machine it is, but one of the dinosaur-esque ones. It may be a Thunderjaw. No, it's not big enough. I don't know. Oh yeah, it is a Thunderjaw. And it's an unscripted event, and this is the kind of thing that you're loving about Zelda. It's like unscripted events that make it your own, don't they, really? And the Thunderjaw is chasing after Aloy, and it bangs into a tree. Instead of clipping through it or crashing or just walking, running through it or something like that we're kind of used to, and you give it a pass for that. It hits the tree, it stops, it sort of ricochets back off the tree, and the tree bends and sways.
Wow.
Then the Thunderjaw recharges, and the tree snaps, and the Thunderjaw resumes its chase of Aloy.
That's incredible.
And it's just details like this in the heat of battle that I probably was part of, or that everybody that's played the game has probably been part of, that well, maybe other people are more observant than me, but in the pressure of battle, all I can notice is like sort of circle, strafe, and shoot, and oh my goodness, where's its weak point? And it's just when you watch it like this as a watcher rather than a player, it's just amazing, the love and the love and the craft and the detail that's gone into it. I also remember on one of the early E3 videos, it showed, when she sort of slides down the ropes with her hands. I don't know what that's called. I don't know. She slides down the ropes anyway. And I remember saying to Claire, that's not very good because that would kill her hands. And apparently other people made this comment actually, online, not just in the lounge. And Guerrilla rectified it because in the game, I was so happy when she went down a zip line. That's it. She uses a metal tool in the game.
Right.
So they'd listen to that, and it just makes it feel much more real because there's no way she could have gone down with the friction on her hands. And there's another clip, she's hanging off a cliff for quite a while. I mean, we all got used to this when Sonic started tapping his foot and things like that. But if a guy just left her on the cliff, and she lets go with one of her hands and just shakes it to loosen it off the cliff. And there's loads of them. There's one where she's tied up a snapmaw, that's the crocodile-type machine, tied it up with a rope caster. So usually you fire loads of those ropes and it ties the monsters up and they're stuck. The snapmaw, the crocodile-type thing, it does a barrel roll in the water to unrope itself, untie itself, and then comes charging at her.
Wow.
And it's another. Oh yeah, no, one more thing. One more thing. It shows a picture of like two machines. One's dead or defeated on the floor in a heap, and there's another one over it, say a watcher or something. And instead of it, usually in a game, we'd probably accept the fact that the victorious machine stood over the defeated machine. Its foot would probably be on the world floor, and clip through the monster that was defeated. But in Zero Dawn, these pictures that it shows, it actually rests on top of the defeated machine and does not clip through to the floor. It actually rests on the machine that's been defeated rather than do that. And it's just kind of like, wow, the detail.
Wow.
Does it matter when I don't even notice it? I probably didn't feel. I mean, I knew it was amazing, and I can't even tell you the times Claire could probably not even tell you the times I bored her by saying, Claire, just look at this. But it's the little things that make it beautiful.
Yeah. I've been noticing on Twitter, a lot of people have got there's a photo mode in Horizon Zero Dawn, and the great thing about it is that you can just kind of stop wherever you are. You can then change the time of day, so you can change the time of day as well as all of the apertures and the other camera controls, but you can change the time of day, and you can also take Aloy out of the pictures as well.
Yeah, you can.
So it totally just looks amazing.
Comprehensive photo mode. Yeah, anytime apart from I think within cutscenes.
Right.
You can just freeze it, and then you can do a whole day-night cycle just by cycling through the times, getting all those shadows and stuff. Oh man, it's just truly beautiful. Change the camera around. You can alter the field of view.
Yep.
So you can actually get more in the screen and stuff. You can take away Aloy because all that. You get rid of the HUD because that never looks good on the screenshot. I think it's a dream for people that love to post screenshots and stuff, isn't it? It's really, really nicely done.
Absolutely. Really I think I did one. And I kind of posted it on my Twitter feed, and it was really cool. I kind of letterboxed it, made it black and white, and it still just had so much power. The I think it might have been the first time that I was on top of a whatever those kind of round headed things are. Tall neck. Yeah, the first time I was on top of one of those when I was kind of taking over one of those, and I just took a picture of that and kind of letterboxed it, black and white. Looked amazing. Looked absolutely stunning.
Yeah, and that it really feels like a true. I don't know, just a true craft of love, or at the very least, a lot of dedication and hard work. But it's very beautiful, and there's an expansion coming, Antony.
Shut up! I did not know this. This is brand new information you're telling me.
This is brand new information. So Herman Hulst, who's Guerrilla's MD, he said in a press release, it was about really the sales, I think, the main thing. But then he dropped in the bit about the expansion at the end. So the quote goes like this: We're thrilled that Horizon Zero Dawn has been embraced by critics and players alike. Developing the game was a labour of love, so there was love there. I was right. It shows, Herman. So it's extremely satisfying to see that it elicits the same passion and enthusiasm from the gaming public that we felt during its development. That must be really nice. This is only the beginning of Aloy's story and our exploration of the world of Horizon Zero Dawn, with the team already hard at work on an expansion to the story. There you go. We don't know anything else than that, unless you do.
No.
We know they're working on it, but we don't know when and things like that. Yeah, and it's got a famous guy in it as well. I've forgotten his name. It's got a famous face in Zero Dawn that I don't know if you will have met yet. Oh, what's his name? I'm going to end up editing a bit of this while I look in real time. He was in The Wire. He was in Fringe.
Oh, Lance Reddick.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's in it.
Yes.
And he's really cool.
I like him. He's really cool, actually, isn't he? He was in The Fringe, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I recognised his voice. I was like, what's this voice? And then you meet him. And I was like, look, it's the guy. Me and Claire were like, oh, yeah. And then Claire saw his name. She went, that's him. And I was like, oh, yeah, classic. So he's in it. So, they didn't need a famous face. I sort of think it wouldn't have lost anything from not having anybody famous in. So I would have been like, save the budget and just spend it on something else. But it doesn't matter. I mean, what else was there to spend it on? Yeah, wonderful game. And so expansion inbound, and I'll just put that out there as well. I probably won't play the expansion because, I finished it. Unless the expansion hooks into how it ends in the post-credit scene, then maybe I'll have to. But I'm imagining that, I don't think a success like this won't spawn a sequel. So I'm looking forward to the inevitable sequel. I'd say, and I'll be right there. I wonder if that'll be on these consoles or a new iteration. Development of this was about 5 years, was it?
Yes, I think it was, wasn't it?
Interesting. Well, so was Andromeda. So let's put those side by side.
It's really interesting. I was listening to an interview with probably that chap who you were talking about, and he was saying that how they had to wait for the PlayStation 4 before they could build this game. They've had this idea for a while, but their consoles just haven't been there. They're like, no, this is just too big for the PlayStation 3. They needed the horsepower that was the PlayStation 4 for them to actually kind of visualize to bring to life their vision.
And it's a nice story for Guerrilla, isn't it? Because I think there was always a bit of a backlash with the Killzone games. Do you remember that? Was it the PS3 Killzone game? And they released that video and said it was in game, one of the first ones that was in game, but then it was proved that it wasn't. Even though when the game came out, it looked pretty like that. But do you remember? Everybody was just like, "Oh my goodness, this looks amazing," and then it sort of like leaked out that wasn't really in game. Blah 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 blah. But they've always had this backlash that it was amazing graphics, but not much actual gaming there. I quite liked. I don't think I played all the Killzones. But I certainly played one of them, and I thought it was okay.
I played that one, that one with the raft, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, where you sort of flew down at the start and it got dropped off. Yeah,
I
thought it was okay.
Yeah, I bought the other one that came out with the PlayStation 4 because I wanted something to play with the PlayStation 4, and I had the game that was based in Seattle that was fantastic. I had that, and I also had that Killzone game. So there was those two that were just really. I quite enjoyed them at the start, but I got bored with Killzone quite quickly, and then I just went on to the other game whose name what was it? It wasn't Uncharted, obviously. It was
which one? The one in Seattle?
Yes, with all the
First Light.
That's it.
First
yes,
Light.
Yeah, that's
but
it.
That was the subtitle though. What was the main name of it? Flipping heck! If I just type in First Light, I think it might help. Come on, we know what it is. We know what it is. We're going to kick ourselves here.
Tune in next week when two old people try to remember game titles.
I remember way back in Infamous.
Infamous. There you go. Infamous Second Son.
Second Son, First Light was the shifty other one that got the HDR update on PS4.
Indeed, it looks absolutely stunning, and I just really loved Infamous Second Son. That was obviously, I loved it so much I can remember the title. But I really did enjoy it. And
I love that game, best game of all time.
Best game ever. What was it? But yeah, so yeah, though I really enjoyed that. I think that drew me away from Killzone, and other stuff came out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to.
It's as if now it's as if they were always hankering to build this. Isn't it? And maybe they got the graphics last time with those other games, but they never quite got the accolades from the press that they wanted to. And I get the feeling that with the power of the PS4, a little bit like we were saying, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's as if it seemed to echo what I was feeling, that at last, because I've been thinking about this, and it's at last they not only had the vision, but they had the tools, and they had the actual end console that was powerful enough for them to give their whole vision to, instead of cutting back on one thing or another. Maybe.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is the real Guerrilla Games.
Yeah, the true Guerrilla Game starts here.
Yes, indeed. And with Horizon Zero Dawn 2.
Horizon 1 Dawn.
Yes, Horizon Zero Afternoon. See, they'll do dawn, afternoon and evening.
Horizon 011.
Yes. Superb. Next piece of news is with me, and it's a quick one, and it's just to say that there is a free game on the horizon. Yeah, I did it. Coming on the 4th of April, we have our first PlayStation Plus game for April, and this is Drawn to Death. Now, you may remember this as that scratchy kind of notebook style art multiplayer third-person shoot-'em-up from the God of War creator, Mr. David Jaffe. So Drawn to Death, and I'll stick a trailer because the trailer was pretty awesome. So I'll stick a trailer in the show notes. But so Drawn to Death, that third-person multiplayer shooter, will be free for PS Plus for April. Now, this is the only game they've announced for April, probably the only game that they're going to announce for April. It's quite a biggie. So this game will be available from the 4th of April. So this is competitive multiplayer in that, as I was saying, that scratchy notebook art style. So this looks quite promising. This has been shown, I think, might have been last E3 or even the E3 before that, that this has been kind of knocking around, and it looks crazy fun.
Another contender in the competitive multiplayer PS Plus lineup, battling with Rocket League, Disc Jam, and now this. But this looks completely. It doesn't look like a sport, does it? It's more of a fighting game.
Yes. It is. It just looks like a kind of arena shooter, doesn't it? Like a third-person arena shooter. So it'll be interesting to kind of jump in and have a go. I mean, bear in mind, I said that about Evolve, and I still haven't played that yet.
Well, you haven't said you're going to play it. You just said it would be interesting to do it, which it would.
I have downloaded it.
You're not committing yourself.
When you download it from Xbox Live, Xbox Games with Gold this month, and there's still probably about 15 days left, it gives you all of the DLC. It gives you loads of additional characters. It just downloads everything. I must say, we should have a Friday night where we jump in. We can have up to, I guess it's 5 of us because 4 versus 1. We should have another Friday night where we have a bit of a kind of multiplayer fest, because it would just be fun just to kind of see how bad it is, or just kind of or
how good it is. Let's see the truth of Evolve. Yeah, peel the onion.
Yes. Remember what?
I'm gutted though. I spent £500 on the special edition 3 months before it came out.
Just remember, what happened with that other game that we brushed off, Broforce. We brushed off, and that ended up being an awesome game. Yeah,
exactly. You never know. But then we've both played Evolve already. You loved it, but you were playing it under optimum conditions.
Yes.
And then you played it under not so optimum conditions. Didn't like it so much. I only played it under the non-optimum of Strangers. Didn't really like it, but I got the hump about the sales tactics. But now it's just out there and available to play. So
have you downloaded it?
No, I was like, I didn't even do that. I mean, at least you, it's like the thought that counts, and that means something. I the other day I was like, oh, what's the date? I was like, oh, it's the 16th. There's new games. Let's have a look. So I put the Xbox on, and I went, oh, it's only Evolve. Turned it off.
It's only Evolve.
But I'd be happy to get it and have a go. I should just get it, but I'd be happy to if people are up for it.
Yeah, download it. We can have some beers, and just kind of have a bit of a giggle one Friday night, maybe.
And then play Gears 2 later, maybe. Hooray, Horde mode.
Oh, no.
Not again.
Not again. Right, so the next piece of news is with you.
It is indeed. This is about the recent Irish GamerCon. Customers paid good money for it, but all they got to see was heavy rain. And that wasn't the game Heavy Rain. It was just heavy rain falling outside of the convention centre as they got to queue for hours on end because they'd oversold tickets.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear, I know. So this was held at Dublin's National Convention Centre, according to Kotaku. And, you know, this was the first of its kind for Ireland. It was the first sort of big gaming convention. But it didn't go very well at all. It seems like just because they oversold the tickets. The convention centre apparently could hold about 9,000 people, and it was a 2-day event, so that's 18,000, isn't it? They sold 24,000 tickets. So you're getting long lines.
Wow.
And some being, you know, families, small children and stuff. Some whom apparently had travelled from across Ireland, which you would, wouldn't you? You know, if you're a fan of a game or something like that happens in your territory, or a fan or a gamer, you know, something like that hasn't happened and you're passionate. But bring the whole family, this is going to be amazing, you say. And then you get there and they're like, sorry, you can't come in, it's full. So they got stuck outside in the rain. Some colourful comments posted to Twitter, as you could imagine.
I
bet. Let's give you some. Mark O'Connor, waiting 2 hours in the line, got nowhere, told there'll be another 2 hours waiting, and it's pouring with rain.
Wow. In
a more colourful fashion, he said that. Terribly organised. I may have figured it out. When you paid for your ticket, this is from Wayne Talbot, at Wayne Talbot. When you paid for your ticket for GamerCon, you only paid for the queue. You pay extra for the DLC that's inside.
Nice.
Yeah. And many, as you can imagine, more rants like that. Management was saying, apparently, that the venue was only allowed to hold 7,000 at a time in the venue. So that's even less than the 9,000 previously thought. Some people have been stranded in the queue since 10:30 in the morning, coming across the country with kids. So what a shame. Something like that could be really amazing. It's such a shame when something like that happens. And is there an excuse for that? How could that happen? If me and you were organising this is what I think. We'd have a chat. We'd find out the maximum number in the venue.
Yes.
And that'd be the maximum amount of tickets sold. Would it? I mean, I would never organise an event for 18,000 people before.
Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? That's the value that you're going to put in your sequel table to say, you know, we shouldn't have more than these tickets. You know, our website says sold out when we reach this number, -5. You know, so.
My goodness me. I've got, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it if I play this. This is what some happy customers sounded like. I don't know if this will work, actually. Just give me a second and I'll see if you can hear this. If not, I might add it in at a later date, but let's just try this.
How dare you! Look, I am sorry, deeply sorry. I am. There's no great strangers and kids been knocked out onto a street out there in the pushing and shoving in again.
So I don't know if you could hear that, but that was kind of the mood of the day. Could you make that out at all?
No.
Right, okay. Well, what I'll do then, I might try and just edit that in if I can, but that's just a family outside just vastly like enraged and disappointed, saying that there's just pushing and shoving and it's a complete nightmare. So yeah, or maybe I'll just edit that bit out completely because it's a bit depressing.
Poor
really.
Souls. I said poor souls. They're kind of
poor souls. Just stuck there. I can't imagine anything worse. It's bad enough queuing inside when you're actually in the convention, never mind not even getting in. You know, just been held outside. So that's a shame. Hopefully they'll, I don't know, switch event organisers. Hopefully it won't die a death and they'll learn the lessons. And if anybody can forgive them, it could hopefully get better if they try again next year, maybe.
Good stuff. Right, so the next piece of news is with me, and that is Microsoft are going to continue rolling out more updates, more feature updates. So starting this month, we've got more updates that are rolling out to those Xbox Insider members. So the features that they're going to be bringing out this month, we've got Arena on Xbox Live. Now, Arena is those kind of tournaments that you can create. So first of all, we've got World of Tanks. So any fans of World of Tanks will be able to participate in new tournaments on Xbox Live created by ESL and powered by Arena on Xbox Live. You can also discover tournaments on your Xbox or your Xbox app and kind of get notifications when the next one is about to start. So you can jump directly into your match. So you can just say, yep, I'm interested in that tournament. When it starts, you'll get a notification that you can just jump straight in to that tournament. So this is quite cool. I quite like this, and I think this will ultimately lead to the thing that I want to, which is that you can do user created tournaments. So this will be good fun, where you can kind of set and create your own tournaments.
Yeah, that's instantly what I was thinking of then. As you were saying that, I was thinking, oh wow, yeah, you've got to be able to do your own. That'd be awesome. I was thinking, what am I good at? what can I actually think that I'm good at and set up a tournament? And I was thinking I instantly get beaten by everybody, no matter which game it would be.
Spelunky. And then there's even more improvements. We've got profile and activity feed updates. So for the first time, and again, this is all kind of coming from that feedback at Xbox.com website. For the first time, you can do custom gamer picks. Are finally here, they say. So from your console, Windows 10 PC, or your mobile phone, update your gamer pick with a custom image. So we're excited to bring this top fan related request to Xbox Live. So that means you can put your own little face. You can do whatever you want now for your gamer pick. I still quite like mine because I've got a coffee plunger for mine. I've got like a cafetiere, and I love it. I think it's really kind of stylized, so I might just keep that.
Wow. Well, I've already done that years and years and years and years and years ago with the Xbox 360 camera.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Oh yes. Yes, because yours was your eye.
That's right, and I saw it the other day when I put the 360 on, because that's what it shows. I was like, oh, look, it's me. So they used to have that functionality, and what it would do is, like, you would see the eye, because you were a friend, so you saw the photo, and anyone that wasn't a friend saw my avatar.
Right.
So it's reintroducing that feature, isn't it, really? Because, my eye is still there. I wonder if when they introduce the feature, as it's still there on the 360... I wonder if my eye will become viewable by other people. I wonder if it'll just remember it. I wonder.
With
the Eye of Wytham.
It'll just pop in.
Yeah.
Yes, like the Eye of Sauron. So the next one is you can join broadcast button in your profile. So one of the many ways to access a game stream from someone broadcasting. So if, for instance, I was broadcasting something, you could see that on my feed. You could see that I was broadcasting a game. You can just one button click and you go straight into that broadcast. You can also update your profile to display the tournaments that you've been in, and also upcoming tournaments that you're interested in as well. So this is kind of all building around that. And then last, it's kind of a bit like Twitter, where you have your kind of activity feeds. So you can hide some posts from your activity feed if you want, or you can also pin your favourite one to the top of your feed as well. So again, like Twitter, you can go in and you can just say, right, pin that to my stream, and it always appears at the top. So that Seriously 2.0 that you might have, or whatever you're kind of most proud of, you can just pin that to the top.
Oh, I love that. That's really nice. I like all those touches. They're really cool.
It really is. And then they've got a lot more to do with clubs and looking for groups. They're really kind of fleshing out LFG and adding extra features and functions there, and also one of the great ones, especially if you travel with your Xbox One, and maybe kind of try to go into a hotel room, which I've done before with my Xbox 360 and couldn't authenticate onto the hotel Wi-Fi. They now have a browser, so the browser will, like if you're on your iPad or any device, a browser will pop up and allow you to kind of authenticate onto that Wi-Fi, so which works really good. So it's just nice that they're just constantly just kind of adding these little functions and features that are really just kind of improving the Xbox One.
Yeah, all these little details making the communities better and the ability to build communities better.
Absolutely. Now, this was from MajorNelson.com, so what I'll do is I'll stick a link to this in the show notes, so you can jump to it and see all of the features in detail.
Fantastic.
Done. Right.
Brilliant.
Next piece of news, sir, is with you.
Yeah, it is. And so this is about For Honor, which is an alright game that we've discussed. For Honor, Ubisoft's games got a good critical reception. Seems to be selling okay, and it's got its fan base. But one guy did a bit of investigation on the DLC involved here. This is quite interesting. I've not seen this before where somebody's actually done this. He's calculated how much it would cost in real money to buy all the DLC that they're selling.
Right.
I suppose in a way, like Dragon's Den, the way that people value their company, and the dragons go mad. They say, "What are you valuing your company at? £10 million, are you? I'm out," sort of thing.
Which one's from Wales?
What do you mean? That was supposed to be Jamaican.
Oh,
it's my Levi Roots impression. So this guy, he's a Reddit guy, and he's called Bystander 007. And he did the working out to find out exactly how much Ubisoft were valuing the DLC out. So, here's the figures. The average hero requires 91,500 steel to unlock everything. Steel is the game's currency. There's 12 heroes altogether. So, you need 1,098,000 steel to unlock everything. If you want to buy steel with real money, it's 7.32 times 150,000. The amount of steel unlocked with the $100 packs. So basically, the unlocks are worth $732. So we worked out that you can either, if you wanted to unlock everything, which, not many people probably would, but if you did want everything, which in the old days you could usually get you could get by just being good at the game, couldn't you, and playing the game, you would pay $732, or, because obviously Ubisoft would be like, you don't have to pay, you can just play the game. So, or you could play the game for 2.5 years if you want. So he calculated it on an average of 1 to 2 daily hours of playtime for 5 to 7 days a week.
Right.
It'd take players 915 days.
Wow.
Or 2.5 years to actually unlock everything in that. So it looks like the game is valued at $732 plus the $60 that the game probably costs. So that's $792 the game is valued at. I wonder what the Dragon's Den think about that. What do you think, Antony Bannatyne?
They would close their book and say, "I'm out."
So there you go. I think that it'd be very interesting. I wouldn't mind a website. I mean, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it. I love things that other people would do. Yeah, I won't do it, but I'd love someone else to do this. There might even be one that just when a game comes out and the DLC, it just instantly works that out for you, and it says, actually, so if you wanted everything in there, that's what this would cost. Just as a point of interest. Wouldn't stop me buying the game.
No.
Yeah, I thought it was actually interesting, and a point I forgot to mention about Horizon. Oh, not again, he's on about Horizon Zero Dawn again. Was the fact that they didn't announce any sort of season pass. They didn't announce any DLC that I'm aware of in the run-up to release. It was just released as itself. And it was a point that I'd made a note to make, but I forgot in my excitement to make it. But it was quite refreshing.
It was.
I thought it was quite refreshing.
There was lots of pre-order bonuses, wasn't there, with different skins and different stuff. But you're right, there's no kind of DLC or buy this before the game's even out type stuff.
Yeah. And they've announced it now, but at least they've let it settle. They've let people get it. They've let people enjoy it, and the fans will have completed it within that time. And it's like, actually, I'm like, wow, it feels like, I'm happy there's an expansion. That's really good because it's brilliant. It feels so much better doing it this way round than almost announcing the expansion before the game's out. It's kind of like, we want more money before you paid this money. It's just so much nicer to say, there's the quality. If you've really enjoyed it, then here's more, rather than pre-order and get this and and the expansion pass and the season pass. It's like we're trying to. It just feels a little bit.
Yes.
I don't know, disingenuous to me. A little bit.
Yes.
Like they're trying to eke that every bit of cash out of you before you've even played the game, and it's just refreshing to see a game do it that way. So there you go. So over to you for the next piece of I can't do it. Over to you for the next piece of news. This is why I never pass it over.
Yeah, see, indeed. And for me, the last piece of news is almost like that little quirky one at the end of the news. And this is that a YouTuber called Sufficiently Advanced, he has basically wired up his home with an ocarina. So he is basically, with a Raspberry Pi and a microphone, he has taught the Raspberry Pi to listen and interpret the melodies of an ocarina to do various smart home functions within his house. This is absolutely superb. And again, I'll stick the link in the show notes, and I may even kind of tweet it out as well, because it's just absolutely superb. So, for instance, with his Raspberry Pi, with his ocarina, it's really good. You just see him kind of walking around his house. There is a tune that he plays, I think it's Zelda's Lullaby, will unlock the door. So that's a bit worrying, because any thief with an ocarina could just open his door. But anyway, Zelda's Lullaby opens his door, and then, for instance, the Bolero of Fire, great tune, will turn on his heat. So it will turn on his heat, and it's very interesting how he's done it all. So it will turn on his heat. The Song of Storms will turn on his humidifier. And it's just like, I looked at Nicola and I was like, I want to do this, and she was like, you're not, she just was like, over my dead body. But it's just absolutely superb to just see this guy kind of walking around his house with it's almost kind of like an Alexa kind of thing, walking around his house just kind of playing tunes and various things unlocking and activating. Like I say, this has to be seen, so I will stick the YouTube clip in the show notes. I may even put it in the body of the document of the page, so you can see it, because it's just absolutely superb.
It's awesome. But why isn't he dressed as Link?
I know, right? He could have really have done that. He really missed a tune.
He should be there going. He should be dressed as Link. But what do you think? Right, so someone's broken into his house. He walks in, and there's like some guy with an ocarina rooting about in a chest. He's like, I've just found the map. I was just looking for some loot in your house. I'm trying to think of a Zelda race now. You might be able to help me. The Gerudo,
Goron.
The Goron down the road told me that if I played the special tune, the door would open, and it did. He'd only have himself to blame, wouldn't he?
But you do just want every cupboard to just do that, have that kick it open with every single one.
Yeah, he opens up his breakfast in the morning. I don't know what he's going to open up. Say he opens up some pancakes. Or maybe there's a new tune for the cooking actually in the new game.
There's a really good little ditty that plays whenever you're cooking. It's great. I never skip it. I always listen to it. It's absolutely superb.
Every time you open the fridge, it plays that.
That would just be so cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah, though, I saw this and I just was really chuckling, and then Nicola was like, what are you chuckling at? I was like, you gotta see this, and she rolled an eye.
I love it, man. He just played the minuet of the forest and it watered the plants.
Yes.
Awesome.
You just have so much fun. So that is about it for the regular news. It's now time to head over to the VR news desk for the latest in VR.
VR desk.
Yeah, here we are at the VR desk once again. You ready for VR news, Antony?
Oh, yeah, I'm strapped in.
Wow.
Ready to go.
Excellent, that's what I like to hear. First,
got my HMD on.
You got your HMD on. Have you got a rainbow smear on the left lens?
No, that's the bonus edition.
Yeah, that was a DLC to punish me for my cynicism. A rainbow smear on the left lens. That's going to be my new rap. I was thinking, actually, I could write a limerick each week to sum up the news, but I don't think I ever will. It was a nice idea.
Please, please don't. Well, you pabbears. There once was a VR.
I think I had that thought at the same time that the drums were giving me the instructions. Beatles rock band. Too much psychedelia from that game.
I'm going to take that away from you.
It needs to be taken away. They're coming to take me away. Right, here we go. So first of all, this is pretty awesome. A company called Way have made like an AR technology for vehicles of the future. And what this does is they're calling it holographic AR infotainment, or a holographic AR infotainment system that they're pitching for self-driving cars. But I think this could work on normal cars. And what it does is it uses your windscreen to project AR information onto. So your GPS and everything, your speedo. Like, you play Forza.
Mm-hmm.
Except, yeah, so if you're like me and you play Forza not in the cockpit, you get your speedo and everything on projected onto the hood, don't you, which is overlapped onto the real world. Yeah, you get your speed and the racing line and things. And the map. This does that on a real car.
But BMW do that. That's an optional extra.
Is it?
Yes, a heads-up display, they call it. And it has either the GPS and all of those good stuff that you were talking about.
Oh, wow. Well, I'll get my coat.
So, I'll be taking over the VR news desk this week.
Well, surely they must do something else. They must have something else. They're saying it does entertainment as well. So you can have like a spaceship flying along with you and stuff for the person that's not driving.
Yes.
But it's weird that they say for the person that's not driving, because they also say it's for driverless cars. You know, sometimes you wish you'd never started on something. But I
think this is amazing. You know, I think this is absolutely amazing. You know, with my next car, it's kind of one of those optional extras. I must say, I was in my local shopping mall the other day, and they had a Tesla. They had a Tesla Model S.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and I was just like, God, this car is just delicious. You know, I love this. And I came home and I started looking at the prices, and I started looking at kind of, and one of the options on it was self-driving. I think it was like about £8,000. It was £8,000 optional extra for self-driving, and I was like, "Oh my god!" You know, the future is here.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, if you break it down into the convenience it could offer you, and for how many years you'd have the car, if you keep cars for a while, you could argue that it's not a bad investment.
No.
I'm very good at doing that. You know, it's like I'll have it for 8 years. It's only £1,000 a year. You know,
yeah, absolutely. And then you break it down per week, and that's just a Chinese in Tunbridge Wells.
Exactly, less than that. much less, much less than that. But this, so I don't know if the Beamer does the same thing as this. It gives you not only it gives you a safety level of how safe you are in the car. It gives maps. It gives, you know, like if you're looking at Google Maps and it shows you. Or Apple Maps, other maps are available. And it sort of says, I don't know, Costa Coffee, you know, and all the shops and stuff, and the pubs and the restaurants and stuff all over the map, and you can see them. It does
points
that.
Of interest.
Yeah, points of interest. And it does that as you're driving past them. But it actually, you know, McDonald's, you know, even if you can see the sign, obviously. But it'll have that in the distance as well, with AR flags of points of interest as well. So it looks pretty cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I didn't know it was already out there. But it also has a space rocket going along with the car as well, which looks pretty cool.
Well, that's it. There
you go.
Move over, BMW. You don't have a space rocket.
You don't have a space rocket. So I might put that in the in the show notes just out of embarrassment, really. Let's just put it there. Way-Ray. I thought it was amazing. You see, I'm not up to date with cars. I don't know what happens with cars. I don't know about the car industry or the car world. So I was like, wow, that's amazing. I'd love that in my car. It's great to know that it's already there.
That one looks a lot more advanced than the BMW one. But it is just, I'm just clicking on that link. You know, the BMW one it shows you, you know, paths that you're taking, etc. But it's not as sophisticated as that. So it's really cool.
You don't have to give me your pity. It's because I've mucked it up with a lack of research. But thank you, I appreciate it. The next thing we've got is about Rock Band VR, which I don't think we've talked about that much. I think we mentioned it in passing. Long time ago.
Get it in a BMW.
Do you? Flipping heck.
Sorry, go on, Daz.
The optional extra of guitars for the back passengers, isn't it?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
You're going to get a BMW sent after this, I think.
Yeah.
Send them a copy of this pod. So Rock Band VR, okay. Now, as I say, we haven't really talked that much about it, apart from just mentioning it in passing. I think what we might have mentioned is something like, how's it going to work? It doesn't sound that good, or something like that, or how will it add value to what you can do already? Well, it comes out soon, and it's coming out on Oculus, and it uses a real guitar. Well, not a real guitar. It uses, it can use your Xbox guitar. It can use your Rock Band 4 compatible guitar, Xbox or PS4, in the game. But what it does that's really cool is it's got, I think it might be one of the sensors from the Oculus Touch. It brings the guitar into the game with you. All right.
Oh wow.
So I never knew this. I didn't think that it did this. I just thought you'd be stood there and strumming away, but I didn't think you'd actually see a guitar. And if you did, I didn't think it would be mapped properly. But it looks like it maps the game properly. Sorry, it maps the guitar properly to you in the game. Wow. So this is really cool. Now, there's a clip that I'll put for people to watch, and it's awesome. And it's the first time I've seen it actually being played. They've done it as a mixed reality video, so you can see the guy actually playing it within the VR environment. It's coming out on March the 23rd to Rift, so we're recording now on the 21st, so that's a few days from now. Strap this sensor to the guitar, pop your HMD on, and then you're on the stage. So that you can look round and you've got the band with you. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And you're looking out to the crowd. A little bit, I suppose, like what they tried to do with Guitar Hero Live, in a way. Except I think this just adds an extra dimension. Then you start playing. When you're playing, if you're playing really well, they've changed it as well so that you can sort of riff better, and when you change chords, it sort of changes the tune. Apparently, it works really well. You can clap and get the crowd to all clap with you. I think they recognise that motion. But when you're playing really well and you're sort of like really riffing, your guitar starts shooting lightning out of it and things like that.
No way.
Massive, and like sort of just glowing neon and stuff like that, and it just looks amazing, man. Yeah, it looks really cool. And you like stood, you can stand next to the drums. Fire starts coming out of the end of your guitar. You're playing that fast, it starts shooting out laser beams and stuff. The crowd's going wild. You're shooting neon into the crowd and starlight into the audience while you're playing, and you're sort of strands of light, like Ghostbusters streams, coming out of the guitar and almost like sort of hitting and fueling your other band members with star power. And it just looks well cool. Looks really good, man. So we'll hear more because it's out soon. So I'll probably know a little bit more about it next week. But I just think that sounds amazing, and it makes me wish that it was out on our consoles. It's only about $60 with guitar.
Wow.
With guitar, which is good. If I was going to choose between this and Farpoint, I think I'd give this a go. Especially if you've already got a compatible guitar for Rock Band, which you probably have. You'd only need the game, wouldn't you?
Yes.
So I think it's exclusive to Oculus at the moment.
Damn.
We haven't got Oculus here on the Sparks, unfortunately, but here's hoping that they'll bring this out. I mean, I suppose in some ways it's hard because this is kind of a party game. And obviously when you're in there, you're kind of on your own, but I think this could be a great party event, just sharing the spotlight. The guy on it is from Upload VR. He wrote a little piece. He said that I played this game. He said it was the third time that he'd played it, and he came over amazed about it. He said he's never felt. He said he's played other Rock Band games, but he's never ever felt that he's actually in a band in front of a crowd of people playing a demon tune that they're all loving and they're all rocking out, and actually what that would feel like. He said that he actually felt a bit guilty because it felt so much like that he felt guilty that he hadn't done the years of practice that would
fast-tracked to stardom.
Yeah, he'd fast-tracked to stardom. And he said that it was absolutely amazing. And I think, it might be that you're on your own in there at the time, but I think watching the person doing it and sharing the love on an evening, I think could be just something quite exceptional. So I'm quite taken with this idea now, and it's a little one that sneaked up on me. So I think that's awesome, and I'm crossing my fingers that it comes out for both Vive and PSVR as well.
Absolutely, because if you think about the Move controllers, they could kind of create a peripheral where you could just stick it in. Because I know it looks like they strap one of the controllers to the end of the guitar. But if you just had the Move controller maybe kind of going in at the back or something like that to kind of so you could track the movement, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I would not want to come out of that. That would just be so cool.
It sounds brilliant, man. And, imagine that. Just pick your favourite artist that's got a song on there, and like you say, you strap the Move controller on. Once it's fixed, then that's fine because it's just the rest of the guitar doesn't bend, so it would just be perfect, wouldn't it? Yeah. And you imagine it though. You're doing really well, man. And maybe you could have the other people on the other equipment as well. That'd be awesome, but they're just not in VR.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's forget that. It doesn't matter about that. And you're doing really well, and you're really into it, and all of a sudden the guitar starts glowing and just starts firing neon, and then the audience just get all neon, and the band get neon, and the whole thing just, I don't know, a crescendo of neon Rock Band happiness. Wow. I've been playing too much Rock Band, obviously. I'm getting too excited about Rock Band these days. But wow, that'd be amazing.
Superb.
So that's Rock Band. VR. It makes me wish I had an Oculus or some means to play it. Please come out on Vive. Please come out on PSVR. Well, not PSVR. Well, please come out on PSVR for you. But, I'm just being generous there.
Yes.
Me, really.
Yes.
And finally, this is pretty cool. How do you get to share? How can a whole class of children share one HMD or one HMD experience? Well, one company took that challenge on. They wanted to give children the opportunity to drive through Mars. So what they did over many months is they took an American school bus and they modded it with special screens that were transparent that they put over the windows. Okay, so each window had this special screen that could be transparent, but then at a click of a switch become a screen over all the side windows.
Right.
And basically this is kind of a this is a VR experience, I suppose, but everybody's inside the HMD. They made the bus into a VR, into a virtual reality bus.
Wow.
The children all get on the bus, start just driving along the streets of the city. I think it's Washington they did it in. It's driving along, blah, 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 normal streets. All of a sudden, all the windows go black, then fade in, fade back, and it's Mars that they're looking out the windows of.
Wow.
That's
incredible.
And what they did is that they used the Unreal Engine to like sort of map Mars out so that wherever they drove over the streets would be the equivalent of where they're driving on Mars. And they had like loads of technology like lasers measuring the depths of potholes and things so that they could actually draw potholes and craters if there was a hill and stuff on the actual streets of Washington. So they're climbing a hill, they could map that into the Mars terrain to make it even more immersive.
Wow.
And then they'd have they sort of put a sandstorm in there, so they also put like speakers and subwoofers in there so that the kids could feel the sandstorm as it rushed up as well. And then when they arrive back home, they sort of goes back to black as if they're going through a tunnel or something, and then back to the street.
Wow.
Absolutely brilliant.
That sounds cool. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, a field trip to Mars. It's called. And this was done by Frame Store with assistance from a group called Lockheed Martin. And yeah, so basically they did this over many months. They used loads of equipment, GPS, laser sensor technology, all sorts of things like that, and gave the kids this bus trip to Mars. And there's a video of them on it. The kids all get on the bus starts off, and then the windows change, they all go black, and then they come back with Mars, and the kids are just like, wow. And I tell you something, I wouldn't need to be 10 years old to say wow. It's absolutely stunning. It's brilliant, and it's another great application of sort of VR technology, I think. Really, really cool. And if you watch the video, I'm sure it'll bring a smile to your face. It's very sweet.
That's fantastic. So almost booking it with Beatles Rock Band, they were on a magical mystery tour.
You know it. Oh wow! Imagine that. You could have sort of a magical.
I've started him again.
Blue meanies.
And you'd be there with your drum kit, and your drum kit would be talking to you. Oh, superb. But that's it for this episode. A huge thank you very much for listening. Don't forget you can keep up with us at gamersoflostspark.com. That's where we're going to be sticking a lot of links this week to a lot of good stuff that you need to kind of check out. So that's gamersoflostspark.com. You can also find us on Facebook, on Twitter, we're at LostSparkPod. You can also find us on YouTube and the Gamers of Lost Spark PS4 community and Xbox One Club. Almost fluffed it up. Darren, where can we find you online?
You can find me as Wythermator on PS4, Xbox One and Twitch, Dazagamer on YouTube, and at DazWhittam on Twitter.
Awesome. For me, I'm Chessman on Xbox Live and Nintendo Switch, and PS-Chessman on the PlayStation Network, and Chessman UK on Twitter. If you have any feedback, please send it to our email address. That's feedback@gamersoflostspark.com. Also, if you're feeling generous, please leave us a review on iTunes. That's it. We'll catch up with you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ka-choo.
We're out of there, mate.
We're out.
We're out. Hey, mate, we should have done it all like that, really. Welcome to... I should have done the intro like that. Hello and welcome to the Gamers of the Lost Spark podcast.